Haribol! Wow!
Wow, was ein schöner Kalender. Dankeschön. Hare Krishna, it is my great pleasure to be with you together, and we are going to read. I hear that the devotees here are doing something very nice. They are reading, I don't know, the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita every Sunday, and that goes, regularly. So since there is a system, I chose also this verse, which was given to me to speak about. It's from the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verse number 9, which is one of the important verses of Bhagavad Gita. As you might know, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 18 chapters, and each chapter is called yoga. So it's Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and this chapter is called Karma Yoga. So who can tell me what Karma Yoga means? Who can tell me what yoga means? Connection, yes, to bring together, yes. Yoga, the word yoga comes from the root word yuj, which means connectivity, to connect. So Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita the different methods of yoga which bring the living entity near to Krishna, to connect to Krishna. So one of the ways of connecting with Krishna is Karma Yoga, because Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead and very kind to all living entities, his desire is to always to connect with the living entities and offer them a possibility of connection with him. So how can you connect with a person if this person is blocking? It's almost impossible. You can be the nicest person on the earth, but if the other person doesn't want to connect with you, it cannot work. So in this case, however, Krishna, being the Supreme Father of all living entities, he always desires to connect with his children. He always wishes that we move towards him. But unfortunately, we, the living entities, are sometimes not very willing to move toward him. Therefore, he offers different possibilities. From the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we know that the supreme method of worshipping Krishna, or actually the only method of really attaining Krishna, is Bhakti Yoga. But Krishna says, okay, if Bhakti Yoga, offering all your love and devotion, it's a little too much to ask, give me all your love. When the relationship is not there, it's difficult to ask someone. Even in our normal, friendship, when you have a friendship with someone, you just tell them, yeah, give me all your love, please. I love you, give me all your love. It's not working like that. Yeah? There's not really a connection there. It cannot be love and trust. So therefore Krishna says, okay, then you can also perform some karma. Do something and offer the results to me. He's, trying to have a kind of connection with us. And this verse today is, as I said, is one of the important verses of Bhagavad Gita, which goes in this direction. I will read the Sanskrit. Yagata karmano yatra loko yam karma bandhana tat artam karma kamadaya mukta kansanga samachara. Please listen carefully. These are the words of Krishna. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. In other words, Krishna is saying, we have to all somehow or other work, otherwise we'll become useless. We will feel useless. If you don't really do anything, you will feel yourself useless. So work has to be done, but the work has to be done, the best way to do it is to do it as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu, to the Supreme Lord. If you don't do this, the work which you have done will create some karma which will bind you in this material. We know karma means action and reaction. You do something, you get a reaction. I am nice to Krishna Chandra, and then he is nice to me. If I am angry with him, he will be angry with me. It's natural, So you will always reap what you sow. So if you sow kindness, you will reap kindness. Generally, there are exceptions. But most of the times, if you are nice, people will be nice with you. Yeah, so therefore, parents generally encourage their children, don't fight with other children in school. Just be kind and you will be kindly dealt with. Yeah? So, Krishna is saying, if you don't work for Vishnu, as a sacrifice to Vishnu, the work will cause bondage for you. Yeah? Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So this is the trick. You want to be free from bondage because this material world is a place where it keeps us in bondage. And that is our problem. We are stuck here, yeah? Like a prisoner who is stuck in the prison house of the material world and doesn't get out. So, this is the bondage, the prison house of the material world. But if you can work in a way to get free from the bondage, that's something which is encouraged here. I will read the enlightening purport of Srila Prabhupada. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that that purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. Both, there are two meanings to the word yajna. Lord Vishnu, yajna by Vishnu, or the sacrificial performance, the sacrifice. Yeah? All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Even if in the Vedas there are sacrifices mentioned for the worship of other demigods like Shiva or Indra, ultimately the result of all these sacrifices will go to Lord Vishnu, because Lord Shiva, Brahma, Indra and other demigods are all devotees of the Lord. We know that from the revealed scriptures that all demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu, ultimately. The Vedas enjoin yajna by Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore the performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varna Ashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varna Ashram Acharvata Purushera Parakuma Vishnur Arapyati. Vishnu Purana 388. Therefore one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions. And any reaction binds the performer. If you do something good, you will get some reaction. Yeah? If you do a lot of good things and then you die, what happens?
Come back. You get the benefit.
Yes, you have to come back to get the benefit. You will be born as the son of a king and you have to go through life. And believe it or not, also the son of the king has to become sick, has to suffer the separation, has to have his own problems. No matter how exalted you are in this world, you will have to suffer. Even if you are a sannyasi, even if Srila Prabhupada, the great devotee of Lord Krishna, the messenger of Lord Krishna, who could do so many things, he had to go through heart attacks and diabetes, and he had his own problems. Because this material world is a place of dukkhalayam ashashvatam. You have been hearing this morning also. Dukkhalayam, this is the place full of dukkha. What does dukkha mean? Misery. Yeah, it's a place of misery. And ashashvatam, it's temporary. Everything is temporary here. Yeah, you can make beautiful house, beautiful car, beautiful family, whatever. It's all temporary. Because sooner or later, either you will lose them or you have to leave this body. So therefore, it is always the nature of these things in the material world are temporary. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, one is in a liberated stage. That means if you work for Krishna's pleasure, you are working on a liberated stage. This is what is mentioned. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyate Devasatone Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasinubhyavachra Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo. So in preparation for this class today, I looked in Srila Prabhupada's lectures on this verse, and Srila Prabhupada opens up the same subject matter, makes it a little more clear. No? Prabhupada says that every activity creates a kind of karma which binds us in this material world. But if one offers the service as a sacrifice to Lord Yagya, or Yagyapati, these are the names of the Lord. The Lord has various names, but if one offers his service and his activities for the pleasure of the Lord, that is very nice. Why? Then Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He says, a soldier who goes to the war field, he fights and he has to kill many people. But he's not bound by the reaction of that, because he is working under the authority of the government and the military. But if the same soldier comes home after the war and he kills another enemy, he did the same thing. He was killing enemies there, and here he killed another person. For this, he has to go to jail or has to be hanged. Yeah? He can go to the court and argue, but I got a medal because I killed 100 people in the war. Now I have to, because of just one enemy, I have to go there, you know. Enemy? I mean, you don't kill someone who is not your enemy. You kill someone you feel this man is on my case, you know. He wanted to kill me, so I killed him. Yeah, I was just faster. Yeah. I should not get punished for this. No, this argument will not hold up, because at that time you were under the protection of the government, under the protection of military, who ordered you and you followed the authority. Therefore, no reaction. You get even a medal for that. But this one here, this is not working. For this you will get punished. So, similarly, if a person is acting in the material world, who cannot not act? We have to all act. Yeah? Therefore, you see also devotees of Krishna are acting all the time. They are doing a lot of service. They are cooking, cleaning, decorating the deities. Wonderful, such beautiful decoration. It doesn't come from shaking your hand. It comes because they put a lot of hard work there, you know. They did a lot of service. Even Krishna is standing there and playing flute all day for all of us. It's also service, you know. He's also doing service to keep us somehow or other connected. Yeah. So service is also there, but the activities of in Krishna consciousness, because they are done under the authority of the Lord and the Shastra, they do not bind you. There is no good reaction or bad reaction. There is no reaction. The only reaction is that you get the blessing of the Lord and you come one step more near to Him, yeah? Or 10 steps more near to Him, depending on how, in what consciousness you have been doing those activities. Yeah? So this is what is given. Yeah. So, just like Arjuna, Prabhupada says, Arjuna was in the beginning of the war of Kurukshetra. He was not willing to fight. He thought, oh, this is so, I don't want to kill all his family members. Why should I kill them? This is not good, you know. But this was very selfish. He wanted to just act on his own selfish way. He was not motivated. But Krishna said, no, you should do it for me, as a service to me. Yeah? Mam anusmara yudhyacha. You think of me and you do your duty. It's your duty to go and kill these people. They have this inimical mood. You should go and fight with them. So this is what Krishna consciousness is. You act according to the desire and the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a similar verse to this. It's a parallel verse in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, text number 13. Atha bhumbir svija shrishta varna ashrama vibhagasha svanustita dharmasya samsidir haritoshanam. This verse was spoken by Srila Sutta Goswami in the assembly of great personalities, great brahmanas, and he addressed the brahmanas. Atabundir Dvija Shrishta. Dvija Shrishta means the crest jewel of all the brahmanas, the best of the brahmanas, because that was what they were. They were not just some brahmanas, they were the best of the brahmanas. And he was addressing them. He said, the thing is, one has to have very high Brahmanical qualification to be called a Brahmana. Brahma Gyan Iti Brahmana. One has to have the knowledge of Brahma before one can be called a Brahmana. But if you're in assembly, and he was addressing the best of them, he said that I'm sorry, I have to read it wrong. He said that the society, he said, he said that the normal society has to be divided into the material divisions of the Varna ashram and the material divisions and the spiritual divisions of ashram. Material divisions are those activities, the brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, shudras, they perform different kind of activities. The brahmanas are teachers and they are priests. Kshatriyas are the rulers and the government, the politicians. The vaishyas are the mercantile people and the agricultural people. They take care of the cows and the animals. And the Shudras are paid servants. They work and they serve the three other higher divisions of the society. So the point in this verse is that if one does that, samsiddhi haritoshanam, one should do that with the understanding of my business is just to haritoshanam, to satisfy the Lord. Because it's not the work which you do, but the consciousness in which you do it. Yeah? You can do one thing and be somewhere else with your consciousness. Or you can be there. Yeah? You can cook nicely, but if your consciousness is somewhere there, you are not Krishna conscious. But you can also cook and be Krishna conscious, be available. Think in your mind, oh, Govinda, 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 Govinda. Or you even sing and chant while you're cooking, or while you're doing whatever service you're doing. Whatever activity you do, this is encouraged that we always remain connected with Lord Hari and do it for the satisfaction of Lord Hari. Yeah. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmabhuta prasanatma na sochati na kamshati sarvas samat sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhaktim lavate param. That Brahman realization means that I am not this body. I am an eternal spirit soul, part and parcel of God. And when we understand this position, then we are liberated from the reaction of karma or material activities. So Sutta Goswami addressed the assembly Shrestha, not only Brahmanas but the best of the Brahmanas, which means they're all Krishna conscious. And one who knows the Supreme Personality, he can be called the Brahmana. And it's very distinguished. Yeah? But when he understands that the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, is always available and he's always there, then one can also become more and more aware of him and become a real Vaishnava. Just remaining a Brahmana is not enough in order to become advanced in spiritual life. One should come to the platform of becoming a Vaishnava. So Srila Sutta Goswami, therefore he says that for every caste and division of the society, there are these social divisions and ashrams, which means spiritual divisions. Varna ashrama vibhavasha. And Prabhupada gave the example that as there are divisions in every company or in every country, there are also divisions in life. You know? Like you're working in an office and there is an office manager and there is a general manager. You know? So your direct boss is the person who tells you what to do, and if you satisfy him, you're also satisfying the general manager. So just like in the same way in Krishna consciousness, your direct boss or your superintendent is an advanced devotee or the spiritual master. If you please the spiritual master, you please also the Supreme Personality of God. We sing every morning in our Guru Vashtakam prayers, that by pleasing the spiritual master, you please the Supreme Lord. So it's not so difficult to understand. Yeah? Even in a normal company, you have to please the department head, and then automatically the general manager is also satisfied with you. Then Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that there are two kinds of reaction for every activity. There is pious and impious. Pious activities, that is also bondage. And impious activities, that is also bondage. But above pious and impious activities, there is another activity, which is called devotional activity. If one performs devotional activities, he is above the control of this material nature. So the material nature is being controlled by the three qualities, Rajagun, Tamagun, Sattvagun, and this is goodness, passion, and ignorance, the modes of material nature. But one who acts on the account and on the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he becomes freed from the reaction of these qualities. And this is called karmani akarma. Although a devotee is seen that he is very active, but his activities are not like material activities to result in some pious result or impious result. Both of them are bondage, the pious and impious things. If we become bound up by pious or impious activities, then we'll have to accept another material body. Karma bandhana. And a material body, as soon as you accept this material body, you're under the laws of material nature, especially birth, death, disease, and old age. And if you become bound up, this human form of life is especially meant for getting freedom from this bondage. But ordinary people don't understand. Only nice devotees of Krishna will understand this, that we have to get out of this material bondage. Therefore, it is very much encouraged that we, as friends of Krishna or devotees of Krishna, propagate this knowledge of Krishna consciousness to other people. It's very much encouraged that everyone, however little you know about Krishna, you should try to give it to others out of kindness. because other people might be in ignorance about Krishna. We have nothing against anyone. Many of us, at one point in our life, we may not have known anything about Krishna. But at one point, some kind devotee has given us a book or some prasadam or some knowledge about Krishna, and that has ignited a small fire, which in due course of time, by encouragement and by our own endeavor, has become a nice burning fire of Krishna consciousness in our life. And this is what Srila Prabhupada very much encouraged. He encouraged the preaching of this Krishna consciousness movement. By the way, this year is the 60th anniversary of the inauguration of ISKCON Society. Srila Prabhupada, 61 years ago, Srila Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta boat, a Jaladuta ship, and he came in an advanced age with almost no money, with 40 rupees, which is nothing, went to America and started this Krishna consciousness movement. In August this year, we are going to have a very nice Sunday feast, especially for this purpose of glorifying Srila Prabhupada for his great service for humanity. He could have sat happily in Vrindavan Dham and chanted the holy names and go back to Godhead. But he decided to sacrifice his life, like we read today. One should sacrifice his service in service to the Lord. And he gave this amazing example of how an elderly man can do what he has done. He changed the life of millions of people. You know, who can do this? You know, who can do this without empowerment by the Lord? So, if you somehow or other think you would like to follow in this amazing example, because this great people, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that great people give great examples. So you could take this great example of how much sacrifice he have put. At least we could do a little bit. You know? At least we could do a little bit to support his mission. Like the devotees who are living in this temple, they are trying to maintain this beautiful deity worship and these beautiful sanghas and programs. We have so many nice festivals and seminars. You can look at our website. We always announce. We have an event calendar, and you can participate and you can support. Yeah, we have a circle of friends of Krishna. You can always join this circle of friends of Krishna and support this worship, support this program. But you can also privately cook some nice food, offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, and distribute it to your friends and to maybe even to the needy people. That would be a very great service to others if you could, somehow or other distribute Krishna consciousness. Don't just distribute food, distribute Krishna to people. The food which is offered in love and devotion to the Lord will become sanctified and will become Krishna. So you give food to someone, he eats, and then the result is gone. But if they absorb Krishna in their life, that would be a very great step toward your own spiritual advancement. And of course, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport, there should be some guidance, especially in the beginning, there should be some guidance. And therefore, Krishna comes in the form of the spiritual master to guide. That is also stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Guru Krishna Prasada Vai Bhakti Lata Bij. That the devotee received the seed of bhakti, and this seed can be gradually watered by following the sadhana, by chanting and hearing about Krishna, and regularly worshipping Krishna, regularly having sangha, an association of devotees, and this can make your life perfect. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kuto. Prabhupada said, just like this movement was started only for the satisfaction of my spiritual master. He came with the blessing and grace of his spiritual master. Right? he took it to heart. He did his best to please his spiritual master. And he said, my spiritual master wanted it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted this movement. And therefore, I took this upon my head, that this is my service. But this is something we all can do. We could all take a little nectar and distribute it, because this is how spiritual life works. It doesn't work by keeping it to yourself. It works if you give it out, if you are open-hearted. Yes, you can, nourish so that you're satisfied, but then you should start giving. Yeah, you should open your heart. I always also say the devotees in this temple, they are living in the spiritual world, but I wish that there would be more openness, that there would be more support, and that there would be more people coming here. I love it to see the big festivals, but during the year sometimes there's not much going here. So please try to come and serve Radha Madan Mohan, even if you just come and have darshan. Yeah, that is already service. Even if you just come and take prasadam, that is prasad sevaya, that is also worship. And if it's possible for you to support the temple by giving some donations, that would be your eternal bank account, filling up. Yeah? We want to fill up our bank accounts, spiritual bank accounts. The material bank account will, anyway, sooner or later will be bankrupt. But the spiritual bank account, that is the important one. We should never forget this. No? There are so many ways which we could somehow or other support this movement and support our own spiritual life by having some small gatherings of devotees singing to the pleasure of the Lord, hearing from the Shastra, hearing from qualified devotees who can reveal Krishna to us. And this is also the purpose of this temple. We invite nice, wonderful preachers to start churning the ocean of nectar of Krishna consciousness. We should always be positively encouraged and happy to be a part of this. And if it's not there, it's this natural attraction is not there, we should really ask ourselves, why is it not there? Why I don't feel it? And try to find answers in Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada's books are a treasure house of nectar. They are the essence of the teachings of many, many, many past acharyas. You always read, Prabhupada writes, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this, and Srila Jiva Goswami shows it from another vision, from another angle of vision. So we have the nectar of many, many acharyas in the books of Srila Prabhupada. And I very much hope that we all see each other again and again and serve the service of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, and be always ready, open-heartedly, to join this movement of Krishna consciousness which was established by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the time is up. We'll have a short kirtan and offering some lamps. But if you have one question, I am ready. Or any comments if anyone wants to say something. Please, loud.
So you gave the example of the soldier, right? The soldier has been instructed to go on the battlefield and kill people, right?
Kill enemies.
Kill the enemies, right? So if we assume ourselves as the soldiers, right, we don't know who their commanders are, right? What is the instruction to us? How do we find out what is the instruction to us?
Well, Prabhupada gave this example. Thank you for the question. Prabhupada gave this example just to make a point. Srila Prabhupada is not encouraging soldiers to go and kill people. It's not what he intended with that. He said, this is the fact. If you're a soldier, which means you have decided one way or another, under pressure or whatever. I was a young man. I had to go to military service. I had no choice. I couldn't say I don't want to do it. I had to go and defend my country at that time. I'm happy that I didn't have to shoot anyone or kill anyone. I was spared from that. But once you are in that position, the point of Srila Prabhupada was that you are under the protection of the government. So if you have to kill someone, some enemy who is attacking your country or your family, then you are protected. But if you do it without that protection, that would be a sinful activity and you will be charged. So this was the example.
I understood the example, but my question was not literal. There was a deep sense to it. Right? How do we find out, right? What are we here for? What should be our objectives?
Yes. For that, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of father and mother. Normally, a child who doesn't know something goes to the parents and asks questions. So, the Lord has given us the Vedas as the authority. The Shastras are our authority. And to know the knowledge, Vedas means also knowledge. To know the Vedas, we should consult with the Shastra. And what does the Shastra say? Like Bhagavad Gita, what does the Bhagavad Gita say? Aditi pranipadena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti vijnanam jnanastamparashana. You want to know the truth? You want to know the answers? You should approach a bona fide spiritual master, offer humble service to him, and inquire in a humble mood. And the self-realized soul will impart knowledge unto you because he himself knows the truth. He himself is a self-realized soul. He knows who he is. And he has the answers, which he gets from the Shastra, ultimately. So it is very much encouraged that we read Srila Prabhupada's books. And therefore our dear organizers, Adishesh and Julamani, always ask in the beginning of the lecture, who is new here? And then these people will receive at least one wonderful book of Srila Prabhupada, hopefully. So thank you very much. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.